Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So I'm going to show you how to make this top. This is for a size large, extra large. That's what it's going to fit. And you're going to need about 650, 700 yards of yarn. And it's real easy to make, so let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, for this project, I am using Caron Simply Soft. It's worsted weight 4-ply acrylic. The color I'm using is soft blue, but you can use any color that you like. And I'm going to be using a size I 5.5mm crochet hook. Got to excuse me, my allergies really bad today, so I'll try not to sniffle that much. Okay, you want to start off with a chain of 75, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. And remember that we never count the one that's on our hook. So just yarn over and go into the 4th stitch and double crochet like that. And now I'm going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like this. So I'm going to continue, and I'll meet back up with you down here at the end. Okay, once you make it to the end of that row of double crochet, you want to start off with a chain of 4. And then you want to turn your work. Now that chain of 4 counts as a double crochet with a chain 1. So we're going to skip this stitch right here, the next stitch, and double crochet into the next. Like that. And then we're going to chain 1. Then we're going to skip a stitch, and again double crochet into the next. So skip, double crochet, chain 1, skip this stitch, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip this stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1. And you just want to repeat this pattern to the end. Skip, and then double crochet, and chain 1. And that's what it starts to look like. So you just want to do that all the way to the end. So I'll meet you down here. Okay, when you make it to the end, you'll see that you have this stitch, and then there's this little chain here from the very beginning. That counts as stitch 2, and you want to go into that top stitch of it there. Remember when we first started and we double crocheted in the 4th stitch from the hook? Well, these are the chains left. So after you do your double crochet, chain 1, you just skip this stitch and go into the top of this little chain space here, chain area here, like very top of it, and that'll make it evened out like that. So just like that. Now we want to do another row of double crochet. So we're going to do a chain 3 this time, which counts as a double crochet. And we'll just go ahead and turn. Now we're going to go right through this chain space and do a double crochet. So just go right through it and double crochet. We're going to be doing a double crochet in every stitch. And then we do a double crochet in the top of this double crochet. And then double crochet again right through this chain space, double crochet in the top of the next double crochet, and then in this chain space, and then in the top of this double crochet, and then in the space. So you just want to repeat this to the end. going 1 double crochet in each of the spaces and 1 in each of the double crochets. So it'll look like that all the way to the end. Okay, when you get to the end and you got this chain 4 from earlier, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and do a double crochet right through this space, like that, and then you can slide it over a little bit. You want to do a double crochet in the 3rd chain of the chain 4, so right here. Like that. And then what we'll do is we'll chain 4 again and do another row of these. 2, 3, 4, and turn. And then start again by skipping this stitch and double crochet in there. And chaining 1. Skipping a stitch and double crocheting in the next. So just like we did, the same thing we did with this row. So now we're just going to be repeating these rows, and you want to repeat them until you get 4 of the plain double crochet rows or 3 of these chain space rows, like that. So we already have 2 of the double crochet rows. And 2 of the, we're starting on our second one of these. So after you get 4 of the double crochet rows and 3 of these space rows, I'm going to go ahead and finish mine, and I'll meet back up with you. Okay, once you get 4 of these double crochet rows done, and these 3 rows with the spaces done, now what you want to do is clip your yarn off. So I just clipped my yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and tie it off. You can hide your tail here if you want. I'm going to wait and do mine later. Like that. Now you want to make, we're going to keep going with this, but we're going to start down lower. And we want to make sure all the double crochet rows and everything are always facing the same way. So just kind of turn your work like you would if you were going to start a new row. And we are going to start a new row. We're just going to start it lower. So what you want to do is count down 18 double crochets. And then we'll start in the 19th one. That's where we'll start our yarn. And then just start by pulling your yarn through. And we're just going to start again, and we're going to keep doing these rows just like we did before, but we're just doing it shorter now. We're not going to put any more rows up here. This will be the sleeve area, or over the shoulder area. So we'll start again, and we're going to start with this row now. So we'll start with a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 1 stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, and just repeat. We're just repeating the same rows now. When we get done with this row, we'll just start our double crochet row, then this row, then our double crochet row, and we're just doing it from here, back and forth, just like before. No more up here. And we want to do that. We want to do this until we have 8 rows of these with the spaces and 8 rows of the double crochet rows. Not counting these rows. 8 of the smaller rows. So it'll be actually 16 total rows of from here up, like this. I'll show you. So like right here. So 16 total rows from here, and then once we get over here, we'll start making the other sleeve. So just go ahead and get working on that, making the body part of the shirt. Remember, not counting these rows, you need 8 rows of these, and then 8 rows of the double crochet rows. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll meet back up with you. Okay, once you made it with your 8 rows of each, starting with the short side, we're not counting these rows, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows of the ones with the spaces, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows of just the solid double crochets. Now what you want to do is clip this off and tie it off like this. And you can hide that tail now if you want, but I'll probably just hide it while I'm crocheting. Now what we're going to start again, but we kind of want to flip it over so all the rows are going the same direction like we'd be starting a new row. Just kind of flip it. And now we're just going to start right here. Now what you want to do is start with a slip knot, and then you want to start out with a chain of 18. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 18. And then we're going to start right up here in this first double crochet. What we're going to do is just do a double crochet in that first double crochet with this chain on our hook. So we're going to yarn over. I just try to hold the chain in place because it starts to twist up a little bit, and go into the first stitch and draw up a loop, and just go ahead and do your double crochet just like that. Now you got this long chain here that we'll be able to work on later, which will make the other arm side. So now we're just going to repeat the pattern for the one with the spaces. So we'll just chain 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, just like we did before. And you want to do this all the way down the row till you get to the end. Okay, when you make it to the end of the row again, just going to chain 3 and keep repeating the pattern and turn. So now it's just going to be a row of straight double crochet. So go through the space, double crochet, and then on top of this double crochet, through the space. So we're just doing the same thing we've been doing. You want to do this all the way up the row till you get to that chain. I'll meet you back up with that chain that we started with. Okay, I made it all the way to the top, and I'm right here where at our chain here. Now all we want to do is just put 1 double crochet in every stitch of this chain. So you should have 18 double crochets going up this chain. And this is going to be the start of the other arm area, or over the area that goes over the shoulder. Just like this. When you get to the end of your chain, you just repeat your pattern. So you just chain 4, and we'll start on and turn. And now we're just going to start again with the row with the spaces. So it's going to be the same thing. So you skip a stitch and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next. So now it's just repeating the rows that we've been doing, and you want to do that till you have the same amount on both sides. So show you mine here. I got one piece done. You'll have 4 of the solid double crochet rows, and 3 of the ones with the spaces, and you want both sides to be the same. So 4 and 3. We've got this one done, and we're starting on this one. So you just keep going back and forth until you get both sides looking the same. Okay, after you get your rows done for this side, now what I'm going to do is go around the whole entire piece with a row of single crochet. So around the whole thing like this, all around the sides, now across the bottom, back up the side. So I didn't tie off. I'm just going to start right here where I left off, and I'm going to chain 1. Now it's going to be hard to see the stitches on these sides, but just do the best you can to kind of evenly space out your single crochets. So just go in and single crochet. I kind of always just use the judgment that there'll be 2 single crochets on the sides of each of these doubles. That's what I do, but just like this. And just do the best you can, evenly space them. It's not gonna be perfect because you can't really tell. And then when you get to each one of the corners, well, you want to put 2 single crochets in each of the corner stitches. That just kind of helps round it out. And now I'm just going to continue down the neckline here, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. Like that. And it's all this doing is kind of cleaning up the edges a little bit before we sew it together. Okay, I made it around my entire piece with single crochet. I went down both sides, the bottom, and the neckline. And I'm back to my starting point. And what I want to do is a slip stitch into that first single crochet that I made. And then I can tie this off. Now you want to make 2 pieces exactly the same. One will be the front and one will be the back, which I already did that. So I'm going to go ahead and start sewing mine together. And we'll sew it together wrong side facing us. So both sides kind of look similar to me, but if there's a side that you like better, put it on the inside right now, so where the wrong side's facing out, and then we will sew it together that way. And then when we flip it right side out, the good sides will be facing us. Okay, I got my pieces with the wrong sides facing out. So I'm going to sew just up here together and then up here together first. So how we're going to sew it together is just get a stitch that's in the corner of each one. Now we're only going to be going through 1 loop on each side. So the piece of fabric that's closest to you, you go through the front loop only. You can see that there's 2 loops to the stitch. See, there's both loops on my hook. I'm only going to be going through the front loop. Just like that. So just 1 loop. And on this back piece, I'm going to be going through the back loop. So we don't go through that loop, but we go through the back loop. This loop only. You see there's the loop? We're going to go through the back one. And now we're going to start out pulling our yarn through. And I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm going to go across, only going through the front loop on the front piece, so the piece closest to me, and the back loop on the back piece. And I'm going to slip stitch it together. So I'm going to go through the front loop on this piece, and then on the next stitch, the back loop only, and slip stitch. This is how I'm going to stitch the whole piece up. The next one, we front loop only on this piece, back loop only on that piece, and slip stitch. Front loop only on the first piece, back loop only on the back piece, slip stitch. And we're going to do this all the way down until we get to the end. Just like that. And what that's doing is, when you flip it inside out, it's kind of just creating a real ridge here. Like that. And if you don't like that ridge, you can just go through both loops if you want. But I'm just going to do it this way. So, but either way, it works. Sewing it together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go across this whole top. Or across this part right here. And then I'm just going to tie it off. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing just across this top. Okay, I got these tops sewed up. Now we're going to work on the sides and the sleeve holes. Now you can always just try this on and put it over your shoulders and kind of pinch off how big you want the sleeves to be. Some people like larger sleeves than others, but it's completely up to you. But what I'm going to do, I kind of just made it mine to fit my mannequin. I counted up from down here 52 stitches. And the other side, 52 stitches. So I got 52nd here and a 52nd here from the bottom. And I'm just going to take a stitch marker and pull it through both of them like this. And just put a little tie here. That way I know that's going to be my sleeve opening. Just tie it shut like this. Just loosely so you can take it out later. And like I said, you can just throw it over and adjust the sleeves to your size. I mean, it doesn't have to be any specific number, but just make sure it's the same number. You tie off both sides the same number, and then we'll just sew the sides together the same way we did. Just start right here in the stitches that has the stitch marker. Front loop only, like this. Back loop on the other one. And then you can take that stitch marker out once you get started here. That's kind of just to mark it off. And pull through. And we're going to do the same. Chain 1. Now I'm going to go through the front loop on this piece. Back loop on this piece. And slip stitch. And I'm going to do this all the way down the bottom. It's really easy to get it sewed up. And you want to just do the other side the same way. Just make sure your opening is the same size. Like I did 52 stitches on each side from the bottom. But like I said, it's easy to adjust. It doesn't have to be any certain number. Just as long as both sides are the same. And get that all slip stitched up all the way down to the bottom. And then you do the same on the other side. Okay, once you get it all sewed up down both sides, this is what it kind of looks like. And at the top, and you got your armholes, you can take off the ties and then flip it right side out. And now I'm going to work around the neck and kind of like the back area too. So, move my camera over here so you can see. You can start anywhere you want. I'll probably just start just up here somewhere. It doesn't really matter. but we're going to be going through both loops. And I'm going to be doing 1 single crochet. Start off by chaining 1. I'm going to go into the exact same stitch I started in and single crochet. And I'm going to work around the entire back and the neck area with a single crochet in every stitch. And when you get to here where it's kind of hooked together, just go do a single crochet there. Just like that. So it kind of just makes it together. And this is kind of just going to be cleaning it all up, making it look nice and clean. And I'm going to keep working until I get to here, this little curve of the neck, or of the chest line actually. It's by the chest. I'm going to do something different. So I'm going to hurry up and do 1 single crochet in every stitch till I get down there. Okay, I'm going to take 3 stitches that kind of round the corner. It don't have to be the exact same 3 that I'm doing, but just 3 that are kind of rounding the corner of the neckline, and I'm going to single crochet them all together. So I'm going to go into 1 and drop a loop. Go into the next one, drop a loop, and then the next one, drop a loop, and I'll have 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and go through all 4 loops, and that's just rounded that, made it not so quite so square right there. And now I'm just going to continue around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get to until I get over here to this dip in the neckline right up the side, and I'm going to do the same thing there. Okay, again, I'm right here in the corner area of the neckline, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to single crochet 3 together, just kind of pick 3 that are around that neckline, and go in, drop a loop, go into the next one, drop a loop, and the next one, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 4 loops on your hook. And now I'm just going to continue putting 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I'm going to do this all the way around this sleeve area. And then when you get to the back, show you here, keep going with 1 single crochet in every stitch. And when you get to the back, you do the same thing in each of these corners. The single crochet 3 together, and then just 1 single crochet through here, and then you go back up to your starting point. Okay, when you make it back to your starting point, if you want to go around again, or as many times as you want to make that a little thicker, you can, just to add more detail. But I'm just going to do it the one time. And when you get back to your starting point, you just slip stitch into your first single crochet and tie that off and hide that tail. Now what I'm going to do is just keep cleaning up all the edges. Now I'm going to go around the entire bottom, all the way around with a row of single crochet. And I'm also going to do the same with each of the sleeves. I'm not going to put sleeves on this, but if you want to, you can. You can continue the same pattern around the sleeve area for as long as you want the sleeves. That's up to you. But I'm going to leave the sleeves off, so I'm going to do 1 single crochet around each of the sleeve areas, both sides, and then I'm going to clean up the bottom again and do the same 1 single crochet around the whole bottom piece. Okay, I finished up going around the bottom and both of my sleeve areas with single crochet. I still got to hide these tails. And remember, if you want to make long sleeves, you can just use all these stitches and make it go out however you want it. But that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I think it's a pretty easy shirt. After I had all these tails, it'll be finished. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope you were able to follow along okay. Please don't forget to check me out on Facebook. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And don't forget to check out all my other tutorials. And until next time, have a good day.